In the blink of an eye, nature can unleash its fury, transforming entire cities into ruins and leaving millions in the wake of destruction. Throughout history, we've seen some of the deadliest disasters imaginable, each more powerful than the last. From catastrophic earthquakes that buried entire cities to tsunamis that swallowed coastlines and volcanic eruptions that darkened the skies, these events have changed the course of human history. In today's video, we're counting down the deadliest natural disasters ever recorded. We'll explore the science behind them, the terrifying events themselves, and the heartbreaking aftermaths that followed. Stay tuned as we dive deep into nature's most destructive moments and the incredible human resilience that emerges in their aftermath. Let's begin. 1931 China floods, the deadliest disaster in history. We begin with the deadliest natural disaster ever recorded, the 1931 China floods. This catastrophic series of floods devastated the country and is estimated to have claimed anywhere between 1 to 4 million lives. In the early months of 1931, unusually heavy snow and torrential rains caused China's major rivers, the Yangtze, Yellow, and Huai, to overflow. By summer, the situation worsened as typhoons brought even more rain. The result? Vast areas of central China were submerged. Entire communities were swept away. The flooding caused a humanitarian crisis, with millions left homeless. Famine and disease followed as crops were destroyed and sanitation systems failed. Cholera, typhoid, and dysentery spread rapidly through the flood-ravaged areas, pushing the death toll even higher. To this day, the 1931 floods are considered the deadliest natural disaster in human history, not just because of the initial destruction, but also the ensuing months of suffering and starvation. With the bringing of such a terrible disaster, China began rebuilding into one of the strongest countries in the world, as it stands today. Unfortunately, the disasters only seem to get worse from here. The Indian Ocean tsunami. In just a few short hours, a peaceful morning in the Indian Ocean turned into one of the most devastating natural disasters in human history. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami would leave a path of destruction across 14 countries, affecting millions of lives and reminding the world of nature's unimaginable power. It all began at 7:58 a.m. local time on December 26, 2004. A massive undersea earthquake, with a magnitude of 9.1 to 9.3, struck off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. It was the third largest earthquake ever recorded and triggered an event that would affect people as far away as East Africa. Without warning, massive waves began crashing into coastlines. Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, and even the Maldives were hit in a matter of hours. Some waves reached heights of up to 30 meters, approximately the height of a 10-story building. Entire villages were swept away, buildings destroyed, and communities left in ruins. The speed and ferocity of the waves left little time for escape. In the aftermath of the tsunami, the scale of the disaster became clear. Over 230,000 people lost their lives, with Indonesia being the hardest hit, particularly in the Aceh region. Millions more were left homeless. 14 countries were affected, with death tolls and damage varying widely depending on how prepared or exposed the regions were. Many victims were unaware that an earthquake could cause such devastating tsunamis, as early warning systems in the Indian Ocean were non-existent. Despite the horror of the event, the tsunami brought out humanity's resilience. Survivors came together, and the international community showed immense solidarity in helping those affected. Each year, memorials are held to remember those who lost their lives in the disaster. While the world continues to move forward, the scars of the Indian Ocean tsunami will remain with us forever, reminding us of nature's immense power and the importance of being prepared for the unexpected. The 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora. In 1815, the world witnessed the most powerful volcanic eruption in recorded history. Mount Tambora, located in Indonesia, exploded with such force that its effects were felt across the globe, triggering a chain reaction of climate change, famine, and social unrest. This is the story of the 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora. The volcano that changed the world. Mount Tambora is a massive stratovolcano located on the island of Sumbawa, in what is now Indonesia. Before 1815, the volcano stood at an impressive 4,300 meters, 14,100 feet, making it one of the tallest peaks in the region. The region around Tambora was home to several kingdoms and vibrant communities. People lived in the shadow of the volcano, unaware that they were sitting on a ticking time bomb. It all began on April 5, 1815, when Mount Tambora first rumbled to life with a series of violent explosions. The sky filled with ash, and small tremors shook the ground. But these early signs were only a prelude to the main event. 5 days later, on April 10th, Mount Tambora unleashed its full fury. The eruption was so powerful that it could be heard over 2,000 kilometers away. Witnesses described it as the sound of cannon fire echoing across the region. The eruption column reached an astounding height of 43 kilometers, 28 miles, sending ash, pumice, and gas high into the stratosphere. Pyroclastic flows, superheated clouds of gas and rock, raced down the volcano, incinerating everything in their path. The local impact was nothing short of catastrophic. Entire villages around the base of the volcano were buried under meters of volcanic debris. An estimated 10,000 people were killed instantly by the eruption, either burned by pyroclastic flows or buried in ash and rock. Ships sailing hundreds of kilometers away reported thick ashfall turning day into night. The eruption darkened the skies for days, as the sun became obscured by the enormous cloud of ash and gases. But the devastation didn't end there. The gases and ash released by Tambora's eruption were so massive that they spread across the entire globe, blocking sunlight and causing temperatures to drop. The result? 1816 became known as the year without a summer. In Europe and North America, snow fell in June, crops failed, and food prices skyrocketed. Famines broke out across the world, and millions of people faced starvation. The eruption of Tambora led to what many historians call the worst famine of the 19th century. The widespread crop failures and food shortages caused by the year without a summer had far-reaching effects. In Europe, desperate populations rioted over the lack of food. Entire communities were displaced, and diseases like typhus and cholera spread rapidly. Even culture was affected by the disaster. In 1816, the dreary, cold summer inspired Mary Shelley to write her famous novel Frankenstein, while painter J.M.W. Turner created haunting landscapes influenced by the strange weather and skies caused by Tambora's eruption. Today, we know that Tambora's eruption was a turning point in global climate history. It reminded humanity that the forces of nature can ripple across the globe, affecting not just the local population, but the entire world. Over 200 years later, Mount Tambora stands as a monument to nature's might, a reminder that while we have made strides in understanding our planet, we are still at the mercy of its awesome power. The 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora was one of the most significant natural disasters in human history, not only because of the immediate devastation it caused, but because of its lasting global impact. From changing the world's climate to influencing art and literature, Tambora's legacy lives on. We've seen how powerful, unpredictable, and sometimes unforgiving nature can be. Whether it's extreme weather, volcanic eruptions, or fragile ecosystems, the lesson is clear. When we interfere with nature, the consequences can be devastating, from deforestation to pollution. Our actions are pushing natural systems to their limits, and in many cases, we're already seeing the impacts. We have a choice: to respect and protect the environment that sustains us, or to face the potentially irreversible consequences. Thanks for watching. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Let's keep the conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comments below on how we can better protect our planet. Conclusively, this raises one final question. Is nature out to get us?